Have you ever thought about reaching your customers while they're enjoying their favorite shows or relaxing at home? That's where Amazon Sponsored TV's ads are going to come in. Today, we're going to be doing a deep dive into what Sponsored TV is, how it works, and why you should be adding it to your advertising toolkit. Plus, we'll also talk about how you can get started with a $500 click credit to make this a no-brainer for you to try out in your Amazon store today. So first and foremost, why TV? It's simple. Over 175 million people in the United States alone actively are streaming on Prime Video, Amazon Freevee, Twitch, Fire TV, and on Amazon Publisher Direct. And we know that people are tuning in throughout the day, whether it's background noise while cooking or unwinding after a show after work. TV is always going to remain as one of the most engaging mediums. And Sponsored TV allows brands like us to connect with those viewers when they're not actively shopping, but rather enjoying those day-to-day routines. Plus, if you're listening to this and you have tried TV ads elsewhere, doing this with Amazon Sponsored TV ads means as a business, you have no minimum spend requirement, making it flexible for any advertising budget as opposed to traditional and regular TV ads. Now, one of the biggest benefits I can say of Sponsored TV is, again, the ability to target customers while they're watching and doing what they love, watching content on the big screen. This means you can create awareness amongst audiences that may not even know that they need your product yet, but subtly plant the seed in their head so that when they are ready to buy, they think about you and your brand. Sponsored TV isn't just about creating awareness using this in your ad strategy, but instead it can be a crucial step of your customer journey. So by layering Sponsored TV into your strategy with other sponsored ad products, you can create a more holistic approach that positively impacts the results across your entire Amazon ad strategy. For example, you could run Sponsored TV ads during Prime viewing hours while simultaneously using sponsored ads on Amazon's platform to capture some headline space on Amazon's search results. This creates multiple touch points, so even if somebody doesn't scan the QR code to go to your product detail page during your ad, if they go and search for your product later on, let's say they're searching up gift boxes, they'll be reminded of your brand at the same time. Now, ultimately, what makes Sponsored TV unique is that it allows you to catch the customers throughout any given time, even when they're not actively shopping. Whether it's morning news or nighttime streaming, Sponsored TV gets your brand in front of viewers who might not have purchase intent just yet, but can be influenced to search for your brand later. Now, I want to give you guys a little bit more context, and I want you to remember that Sponsored TV's goal is not always going to be a direct conversion. It's instead to be top of mind when customers are ready to make a buying decision. Now, I want you to picture this. Think about you sitting on your couch while you're watching your favorite show on Amazon Prime Video, and all of a sudden an ad comes up for something that you didn't necessarily know you needed, but instead it actually reminds you that you do need that. And therefore, what you do is you get reminded, maybe you make a note, and then you go and make that purchase a week down the line or a couple days later. Now, the power in this is that you have the ability to actually tap into more of the emotional based market. Whereas Amazon, how I've always talked about it dealing with our students, even when I look at it, is that you're really entering an intent-based market. Somebody wants a gift box, they go onto Amazon, they search up gift box with the intent to buy it. When somebody is searching the search engine results page, your listing needs to be prominent, it needs to be dominant, it needs to look good so that people can actually go and purchase off of the listing. You know, you're enhancing your image to make sure that you get the click through. But if you've already had a touch point with the customer, which again is what Sponsored TV is going to allow you to do, subtly, what they're going to realize is that, hey, I've seen this before. Hey, I've seen this product before. Hey, I've seen this brand before. You're reminding them that, yes, I showed that out on TV. And although they didn't make a purchase right then and there, they thought about you or indirectly saw you when they actually went and made that purchase, therefore influencing the sale. So the goal of Sponsored TV is not necessarily to influence the purchase right when they see your ad. Now, some people, they may actually go and convert, which is awesome, but you want them to be reminded for when they actually go and search up what they're looking to buy. And there you are, you have your headline ad, or maybe you just have your organic listing, or maybe they took a note like I did, and I went and found that actual brand that I saw on TV a week ago and then purchased from there then. All right, so let's go ahead and let's dive into how to create your very first Sponsored TV campaign. So after you go ahead and click create a campaign in your campaign manager, you're going to want to scroll and obviously look for this guy right here. You can see that it's currently in beta, but after you see Sponsored TV, you're going to want to click continue, and then it's going to take you to the setup page, and it's going to look exactly like this. Now, for whatever way you go and actually set up your campaign name, you can use that. For us, of course, we use SKU, name, and then date just for ours, and I likely put STV for sponsored TV in here as well. You'll go ahead and select your start date. Now, one thing to keep in mind, and speaking with Amazon ad experts, they've recommended a bare minimum budget of $150 per day, and up to $250 or more. And the reason why is because your CPM is certainly more expensive here, and it's in order for you to get that reach and be able to test whether or not the targets that you're setting up in the campaign are going to be effective. So important, I recommend setting a minimum budget of $150 here. All right, and as we scroll down here, we're going to go ahead and have to either do one of two things. Number one, we can drive traffic to our brand store. And if you are choosing brand store, you're going to have to go ahead and select your brand store as well as the page. So for our brand here, we have home or products. I'd likely do product pages. But if you want to be more specific, and what we did in our campaign is we actually drove it to a specific product detail page. And once you select this, then you're actually going to have to add the product. And now this is all traffic that we're going to be driving off of Sponsor TV is going to be directed to this. So when they scan a QR code based off of the ad that is running, it's going to go directly to the product detail page. And if you select this, it's going to go directly to the landing page. The next thing is actually adding the creative, and let's go ahead and do that. And as you can see here, there are specific specs. I'm also going to link these specs and best practices for creatives and talk through that at a later part in the video on how to make sure your ad actually does get approved. So you go ahead and click add video. As you can see, if you have your own video, you can actually upload it, or if you already have one inside of your creative assets, you can actually do that as well. Okay, so we go click upload video, and then after you've done that, you click done, and you'll be able to see the preview here as well. Now, getting into the fun part is actually talking a little bit more through the targeting. So inside of the targeting, we highly recommend that you actually set up your bids and CPM, your bid per CPM to $15. Now, what we recognize is even though we had set it up for $15, we were getting CPMs for an average of $8.50 to $9.50, depending on what target we were going after. Now, diving into a little bit more about the actual targeting, there's a couple different ways that you can actually set up targeting. Number one is in-market category. This is typical as if you were targeting a specific category as if you're on Amazon. So let's say I was selling something in tools and home improvements. I can find the specific browse node and go directly to that. Let's say I'm selling light bulbs. I can go add light bulbs, so on and so forth. And then I would click done and add that. Of course, you can add multiple in here as well, multiple market categories. For us, what we did is we actually tested one category at a time. We also tested one interest at a time to see what would be most effective. And in our experience, we actually found out that in-market categories performed much better than interest and lifestyle targeting as a whole. Now, as you can imagine, when you're using in-market categories, you're more specific. So you're finding that specific customer that is related to, somebody that is wanting to buy light bulbs. Where if you're going into and actually wanting to pick something in interest in lifestyle targeting, now you're going after interests, right? So let's say I wanted to find somebody that is interested in specific education and learning, because I know that this is my target audience. That might be something that might actually be very powerful if you know who exactly you're targeting. But because of this, you are targeting a much broader audience, and therefore the refinement of the person you're looking for is much more challenging. So keep that in mind. You can see there's a bunch of different options. There's entertainment, there's travel and tourism. You can go down to the specific music. As we kind of scroll down here, there's subscriptions, pet ownership. Again, this might be very powerful if you have a pet specific brand, right? Again, look through, but I highly recommend, number one, testing both. Okay, so testing your in-market categories, both at a broader sense, but also you can test them more niche down as well. And then interest in lifestyle, if you find anything that you think would be very specific, that could be very powerful. So make sure you try both and find out what's best for your product. Now, after you've done that, you're going to go ahead and click submit for review. Now, it takes about 24 hours for it to actually get approved, and then it will start running thereafter. Make sure you go back in and check, because if your creative does get rejected, it's going to give you the reason for rejection, and that way you can make the edits and see what exactly you need to change in order for it to get approved again. So let's talk a little bit more more about creative best practices just to make sure that you get your video creative actually approved. Now, the most common reason for creative rejection is the absence of a brand logo, which is essential for helping shoppers identify the product or brand in the featured video and engage if they're interested. Another frequent issue is that the inclusion of the QR codes are actually in the video content. This is not permitted, as the system actually automatically generates a QR code for the product. Lastly, creatives for sensitive products or categories are often rejected due to policy restrictions, as exclusion targeting is not currently available for those items. Keep your messaging short, memorable, and directly related to your product, as you want to create an immediate impression. Let's dive a little bit more into tracking sponsored TV performance, which can be challenging, but it is possible. While direct conversions might be harder to measure, the primary KPIs that you should focus on from an attribution perspective are detailed page views, branded searches, and new to brand percentage. Analyzing these metrics at the audience level will give insights into what's working and where there are opportunities for optimization. Additionally, leveraging Amazon's Marketing Cloud, or AMC, and the data from it allows you to assess performance beyond last touch attribution and understand sponsored TV's contribution within the broader media mix. Now for us, here are some things that we saw after running our sponsored TV campaign. Number one, we noticed an increase in organic sales. Now to us, we see this as people were searching for our product to purchase, noticed an increase in branded campaign sales, which is us targeting our keywords, meaning the hope is that the pullover from sponsored TV had allowed us to be top of mind for searches. We also saw an increase of 433% from the same period that we ran the campaign the previous month. So from September to October, within the same period, we actually saw a 433% increase, which is pretty crazy. Now, because sponsored TV is very hard to track, it was hard for us to attribute that came directly from sponsored TV. Now, the things that we also consider is that there was Prime Day during this period of time. Our product also is a Q4 product, but we can make an assumption based off of us having higher branded campaign sales, more click on our headline ads, there was a direct impact to our sales in some form. But what we can do is we can make the assumption that the broader strategy of using sponsored TV did have a direct impact on our overall Amazon ad strategy and therefore influenced more of those sales. So by now, you'll see that Amazon continues to grow their readily available ad products for our stores. Why don't you see if sponsored TV fits your business needs? And to make it so much easier, don't forget, you can kickstart your first campaign with a $500 click credit. Now, if you found this video on sponsored TV valuable and you're wanting to learn a little bit more about Amazon ads, then like the video and subscribe for more. We'll see you in the next one.